doctor-patient
Yeah.
relationship that we don't know about. There's something between them that the guy couldn't
Yeah.
get him off his patient list. There's more to it, but we'll get to know when things unfold.
Yeah. I think
I
there was
think it's a
another.
bit like,
Yeah, go on, sorry.
go on, Emmy. Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Well, yeah, go on.
All right. I think there was another thing there. The GP was trying to merge his practice with another practice. That was in the article as well. So his name is Gokirit Kalkat. I hope I've pronounced that well. And he's 58-year-old. And the name of
Yeah.
the practice is uh, Thames Thames View Medical Center in Dagenham, Essex. So he was trying to merge it with another practice, and I think he was trying to offload the patient list or something or
Right.
whatever, so he could merge it. And this guy wasn't having it. So this guy refused to leave. So that
Really, is
that's
that
that's
what
one bit
happened?
that
Yeah.
I read in the article as well. Yeah, so sorry, Trevor, go on, please.
I was only going to say that yeah, it's what I forgot what I was going to say now. It'll probably come back to me. But what was I going to say? Um,
It's all right.
nope, it's gone.
We can come back to it. So what I
It,
was going to say is how how much what price do you put on your peace of mind? What's the price that you would put on your peace of mind? Because obviously, Trevor's saying 15,000, but there was another 40,000 that was involved in it, and
oh
I think
well,
yeah, as well, yeah, there was another 40,000 pounds. So that was involved in this whole transaction. The point is, how much would you use to buy your own peace of mind, or how much would you give in exchange for your peace of mind? Because obviously, whatever the case is, this doctor practice or whatever needed to have his peace of mind. He needed to, get this guy off his back or what, for whatever reason.
his books.
Off his
Yeah, I
book.
mean,
Yeah,
yeah. I was going to say what I was going to say before was the details initially in that story were not great, and I think it was a bit of clickbait, so to speak, because if you read the little headline which says Doctor GP beats himself up to get rid of patient,
yeah,
that is real clickbait. You want to read it. So yeah, they didn't seem to put too much information, but I didn't read the bit about another £40,000.
yeah,
So as you say, how much would you pay? Well, I think as Femi has said, you've got to be pretty foolish or pretty desperate to be paying out the sort of sums of money we're talking about here in the vain hope of getting rid of somebody off of your books when manifestly they don't want to go. And as I say, maybe confidentiality or not,
yeah,
he clearly felt the only way he could get rid of him was to make out he'd been beaten up, and that probably shows his desperation.
yeah, yeah. So, obviously, the guy, if you have the money, I think you would pay any amount to get your peace of mind. I think so. Because you
Well,
just
how about we look? I don't know. It's really complicated. I'll be honest with you.
okay.
To get my peace of mind,
Yeah.
I rather run away. I run off. I'll leave the borough. I'll go somewhere else.
Right, okay.
I won't pay
Yeah.
you £40,000. We know how much £40,000 is in this country, man. I won't
Well,
pay you that much. I'd rather sell that because I'll be honest with you, there's still more to it that we don't know.
yeah,
There's
Yeah.
they must have a dealing. If it's a drug addict, there must be something. There's
yeah,
something that guy has that
Mm,
he has on that medical doctor that might send him to jail.
yeah,
mm,
yeah. Maybe he has
yeah.
some.
That's why he's paying that much, £15,000, then £40,000.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't get it.
Mm.
Yeah, well, there's definitely more to it than meets the eye.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, there is definitely. Uh,
That's why it's paying him that much. £15,000, then £40,000.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't get it.
yeah. Well, there's definitely more to it than meets the eye.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, there is definitely. Um, but you say you would move away for. So all right. So if you had a neighbor from hell, you bought a new house, right? So you bought a house, and
Yeah.
you happen to discover that your next door neighbor is somebody that is, not after. Am I frozen out?
We can hear
Yeah.
you, but you're frozen. Yeah.
But you can still hear me.
Yeah.
Okay, we can hear you. Yeah, carry on.
All right, that's strange.
I think you're back. Yeah. Well,
All
welcome
right,
I'm
back.
back now.
right. So if you bought a house and your next door neighbor is somebody that is just out to make your life miserable, what do
In
you
what way?
what
In what way?
well, loud music for a start, loud music, calling you names, um, you know, just or 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 just having people around the area that they
Yeah, in that case, right? This is a different case now
right, okay,
because that neighbor has not got anything on me that can
right,
send me to jail,
right,
right? If he calls me name, I report it to the police. If he does anything, I report it to the police. But what I will not take is him coming in my face and putting his hand on me. And
right,
I'll
okay,
go to jail before he does anything to me. I will go to jail. If anyone puts their, I'll be honest with you, I'll say it anywhere. I'll say it
yeah,
in front of a policeman. I
yeah,
will go to jail. If somebody puts their hand on me or puts their hand on any member of my family,
yeah,
you can do whatever you want. You can call me name. You can do whatever you want. You can play your loud music. I'll keep reporting it. But the day you put your hand on me, I'll go to jail
okay,
because I'm going to do something terrible to you. You'll never put your hand on me again because I will never put my hand on anyone. In my entire life, I have not done it, and I'm not going to do it.
right. So Trevor, what would you do?
I'll make sure I don't put my hand on Femi for a start, because I can get socked in the mouth. But no, I totally agree with what he says, and um, yeah, I mean, we don't want to sort of bring the mood down, but you can only imagine, like those little girls who were killed in Southport,
Yeah,
the fact that they weren't there to protect their little children when they would have had the same instincts that Femi just outlined. We all have that for a close family, our children, or whatever.
yeah,
Anyone touches them, we have that instinct to do the worst, and I'm sure that's a very instinctive and natural way to feel. But yeah, there's probably not more I can add to that. I mean, I experienced once a few years ago a very difficult neighbour, for no obvious reason. His wife was very, very nice, very pleasant lady. You bumped into her outside and she'd stand and have a chat and all the rest of it. But he, on the face of it, initially was the same. But then he starts. I mean, we had quite a big front garden, and we did. There were detached houses, and yet at the edge of mine, he would park his wheels sometimes onto my grass. Now that sounds really petty, but he would. I never understood this, and I didn't say anything for a while. But maybe he got annoyed that I didn't knock and say, "What are you parking there for?" But eventually I did, and he couldn't really answer it. He just had a bit of a strange look, and I said, "Well, I would appreciate it if you don't park on my grass. We both got pretty big front gardens." And he never ever changed. And I honestly, I took the view after I don't know, a year or so of this, and my wife as well. We said, well, we don't trust this guy. There's something about him. I mean, he had two young kids. Ours were a little bit older, but it was weird. That's all I can say. But my point really is, it left me and my wife feeling very uncomfortable because I just felt there was something fundamentally wrong with this guy, who on the face of it is a really nice bloke, but actually he wasn't. He had this instinct to just do odd things, and every time I read in the press or hear stories about bad neighbours and neighbourly feuds, I sort of think, yeah, I can. It does happen. There are some people who seem to want nothing but problems. I remember saying to this
Yeah.
guy, I won't say what his name was, but I said, look, we don't want to fall out over this. This is a triviality. I don't know why, you need to park your car there. You've got plenty of space. But he didn't really ever try to explain it. Eventually, they moved away. And I thought, thank goodness for that. And it was never a huge blot on the landscape, but he was a bit strange. And you never know quite who you're dealing with. It's like if you're driving, you've got to be a bit careful. If you get an idiot driver somewhere, you've got to be a bit careful if you start hooting, because if you do it to the wrong person, you don't know what can happen. So yeah, keep the peace if you possibly can.
we've all had our share of road rage, haven't we? I think that's a nice topic for next week.
That's a nice topic.
Yeah, yeah, it is a good
That's a nice
topic.
topic. Yeah. I've had it many times, I'll be honest with you.
The amount of times
Really.
I'm sat in my car driving and going, "Oh, it's so stupid."
Yeah, well, we all do it, don't we? Yeah. But I think you have to be
That's
quite
a good
careful
topic, honestly.
nowadays.
Road rage. That's a good topic.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
No, it's an interesting subject. Yeah,
and
it is.
sometimes when you're overtaking them, you just want to see who he is, as if to say,
Sometimes I feel a bit guilty though when it comes to that. This guy is right in front of me. He's going at 5 miles per hour on a
Yeah.
dual carriageway. And I'll be like, what? What's happening? And I'm furious and I'm angry. And by the time I overtake, I find out he's a 75-year-old man. I say, oh, Lord, sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but then perhaps they shouldn't be on the road if they're driving like that.
Exactly, but he shouldn't be on
actually,
the road.
I actually think the standard of driving in our country is pretty good, and
yeah,
especially on motorways, whatever we see and say and hear ourselves, I think compared to lots of countries, and I've driven in a few,
Oh, Trevor,
I think we're a lot.
you don't want to drive in Nigeria, man.
right.
I've not been
This
there.
is this is all we've got. This is all we've got time for, guys. So, we've been listening to and watching the Alien Spaceship with myself, Emmy Hikins, and he calls me bruv.
And myself, Trevor Gear, and he calls me Cuz.
And myself, Femi Madarila, and he calls me South Femo.
Yeah. So join us again next week for another interesting season of the Alien Spaceship. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye. It's bye from me.
Bye.